Hi everyone. As you're busy working on your second portfolio assignment, I'm going to take just a couple minutes to walk you through exactly how to complete some of these macronutrient calculations. A couple of you have had questions, so hopefully this will make it a little bit easier as you finish up your assignments. The first thing that you want to do is actually pull out your nutrition calc spreadsheet, and there's going to be a couple numbers that you're going to want to look for on that spreadsheet. So first of all, you want to look for your total calories. This is going to be average. All these numbers are going to be your 7-day averages based on your food log. So look for that total calories, fat S, which is saturated fat, fat T, which is trans fat, carbohydrates, and protein. These are going to be the values that you'll look for as far as calculating percentages. For some of the nutrients such as the omega-3s, omega-6s, fiber, as well as cholesterol, that's just going to be the total that you consumed, whether that was 15 grams or 300 milligrams. You're not going to have to do any math with those. It's just how much that you consumed. All right. One question that I often get is with fat, and fat is really your total fat on your spreadsheet. So it's going to include all of the various types of fat that you consume. So saturated fat, trans fat, polyunsaturated fat, omega-3s, omega-6s, et cetera, et cetera. But for our purposes, we're just going to look at saturated fat and trans fat specifically. So to get started on your calculations, the first thing we're going to do is, I've just got an example up here. So let's say, for example, I consume an average of 2,000 calories. And of those 2,000 calories, I consume 300 grams of carbohydrate, 75 grams of protein, and 55 grams of fat. I'm using 2,000 because it's an easy number. It usually, the calculations come out pretty even. And you just have to remember that for each gram of carbohydrate, I'm going to be consuming 4 calories. Same thing with protein. Fat, however, is a lot more calorie dense, so it's going to be 9 calories per gram. So what we need to do is, in order to do the math here, since I know I consume 300 grams of carbohydrates and 1 gram of carbohydrates is 4 calories per gram, I want to see how many calories are coming from each of these macronutrients before I can calculate percentages. So as you can see here on this slide, since I consumed 300 grams of carbohydrates times 4 calories per gram, that gives me 1,200 calories from carbohydrates. So 1,200 calories of my 2,000 come from carbohydrates, because remember, carbs, protein, and fat are the energy yielding nutrients. And how do we measure energy from food? In the form of calories. I'm going to do the same thing with protein. So I consumed 75 grams of protein times 4 calories per gram. So that's going to give me 300 calories from protein. With fat, I consumed 55 grams of fat times 9 calories per gram, because remember, fat's a lot more calorie dense than either carbohydrates or protein. And I get a total of 495 calories. That come from fat out of that 2,000 calorie total. Now, if you add all these up, they don't quite add up to 2,000, and that's just due to rounding, and that's okay. Your numbers typically aren't going to be even. Even when we do calculate percentages, they're probably not going to be even either. You might get 100%, you might get 98, you might get 102. That's usually just due to rounding. So now that I know how many of my calories come from each of the macronutrients, I'm able to calculate percentages. So here I divide each of those total calories from each macronutrient by my overall total calories. So 2,000 total calories. So 1,200 divided by 2,000. So I've got my 1,200 calories from carbs divided by 2,000 total calories, and I get 0.6. So 0.6 times 100 is 60%. 300 calories from protein divided by 2,000 total calories, and I get 0.15 times 100, which is 15%. 495 calories from fat divided by 2,000 total calories, and I get 0.248 times 100, which is about 25%. I usually round 2 to 3 decimal places, just because the more decimal places that you include, sometimes your numbers end up coming out closer to 100. But as you can see, the math worked out pretty well here. 60 plus 15 plus 25 is a total of 100. Now, when you're calculating your percent of calories from saturated fat and trans fat, you're going to do it just like you did total fat. You would just take however many grams, so let's say it was 10 grams of saturated fat times 9 calories per gram, and it's going to give you let's see, 10 times 9 would be 90 calories, and you would just take that 90 calories, divide it by 2,000. So hopefully that helps better explain how to do some of these calculations. Please let me know if you have any more questions. I'll definitely make sure that these slides are available on D2L for you.